Good evening, I'm Scott Beadle with St. George News at 8. A St. George man is behind bars accused of sexually abusing a child. 46-year-old Carlos Alfredo Lopez Palma faces 7 felony counts. On April 13th, a girl told St. George police she had been sexually assaulted by Lopez Palma at his Washington City apartment on at least 7 occasions when she was in the 5th and 6th grade. She says he recently requested inappropriate photos of her and told her he'd pay her to take her shirt off. She says he also told her he loved her and wanted to be with her. Lopez Palma is currently in the Washington County Purgatory Correctional Facility. The mother of a Utah man being held captive in a Venezuelan jail met with federal officials this week. Senator Orrin Hatch invited Lori Holt to Washington to discuss the welfare of her son, Joshua Holt. In June of last year, Joshua traveled to Venezuela to marry a Mormon woman he met online. After the honeymoon, Joshua was arrested and charged with possession of weapons, the government claiming he was stockpiling weapons in his wife's apartment. His family maintains his innocence and says he's being used as a political pawn. Senator Hatch had a private meeting at the White House with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on the matter. Hatch says they will continue to fight for Joshua's release. 4 teens were caught on camera trespassing onto Webb Hill Saturday afternoon. Police were called to Webb Hill after the teens, 2 18-year-old girls and 2 juvenile boys, were spotted on surveillance climbing a chain-link fence and entering a restricted area. A male teen was also seen throwing rocks at a ventilation system. The teens were still there when officers arrived, and the officers say the teens admitted to everything. The damage caused is expected to cost about $800. The 4 were cited for trespassing. One of the boys was also cited for criminal mischief for throwing rocks. Their case will be referred to a juvenile court. A water advocacy group that had previously requested state water use data says the findings show Utah is not running out of water and the 2 proposed pipelines are, quote, a waste of money. The Utah Rivers Council's first request of the data from the Utah Division of Water Resources was denied by the division, but an appeals committee ruled to have that information released. The division says they wanted to wait for the findings to be analyzed by a third party before its release and says it is legally required to do so. The council believes incorrect information from the division is being used to, quote, wrongly justify the Lake Powell and Bear River pipelines. That disputed information is available on the division's website. The St. George Police Department has a new 4-legged member on the team. Maury Kessler has the story.
There's a new top dog at the St. George Police Department, and her name is Peanut. The 1-year-old Chihuahua has nuzzled her way into the hearts of police officers and employees there since she arrived at the St. George Animal Shelter last year.
It was one of those things where we weren't quite sure what we were going to do with her, and so because of that, she was driving around with me, and so she was just kind of hanging out in my patrol truck, and we were cruising around and came in here into the police department, and she basically got lost here. Or found, I guess, depending upon how you look at it.
Peanut has become something of an unofficial mascot for the police department, and while it's fun to have a dog at the office, Fuller says that Peanut has had a calming effect that has benefited those around her.
I actually think it's been really, really positive, probably both, not only just for her, but an extremely positive experience for the officers and those that work here, being able to socialize with her. It's funny to see the reactions of big, tough police officers and fighting over the fact of who's gonna hold or take care of the dog next. So I think it's actually brought a new feel into the station and into those that work here, and being able to have an opportunity to spend time with her, and it's relaxing. Just makes you feel good.
Peanut pays a visit to the police station and the nearby city offices every Thursday. The rest of the week, she's in the care of Donna Johnson, one of the city's legal secretaries. Johnson has fostered Peanut and will officially be able to adopt her next Monday.
We love being with her anytime we can, and she has her job that she does for the police department. She comes and helps on the rounds as well, and she's a good little helper. I think everyone will agree.
Having Peanut around has enabled at least one of the police employees to be able to bring in her own pet pooch, a 4-month-old Australian Shepherd named Jilly, who is able to visit this police station and also play with Peanut when she's around.
Sit. Jilly. But Mom, I'm so excited. Jilly. Mom.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Summers has your Southern Utah forecast. Next.
The weather tonight is brought to you by Experamac. Experience Mac computers in a new way.
And welcome back, everyone. A good Friday to you. Did see some cooler weather out there for today. Taking a look outside by Lake Powell at Dangling Rope. You can see a lot of clouds in the forecast too, or at least in the sky there. Not a lot of people on the lake either. Temperatures today into the upper 60s to low 70s. Late this afternoon, you had a few showers pass through parts of southern Utah as well. Now, as we get into the overnight hours of tonight, though, we got a couple different warnings going on around the area. We have a hard freeze warning up to our north and west through parts around Cedar City up to Beaver, maybe near Enterprise. You've seen that hard freeze warning as temperatures overnight tonight drop back into the mid-20s. Around the St. George area then, we have a wind advisory in effect as we get into the overnight hours once again. St. George itself probably not seeing as gusty winds, but as you head into some of the other areas, especially along the east-west roads, could see some of those gusty winds actually causing some crosswinds as northeast winds set up tonight up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. And with that wind advisory in effect until early tomorrow morning. So it will be a full day of sunshine for our Saturday. Again, a little breezy across our area too. Temperatures a little better than today. Should get back into the low 70s in much of southern Utah for the rest of the weekend into early next week. Then still a lot of sunshine expected and a lot of dry weather expected as well. We'll keep pleasant conditions going and actually start to warm the temperatures up by the early part of next week, seeing temperatures by the middle part or end part of next week into the upper 80s to low 90s around St. George and southern Utah. Let's take a look at our surface map for our Saturday. Again, really not much going on around our area as far as precipitation or any type of weather really going on. Just some windier conditions. Also starting to get some warmer weather back into the area too. Seeing that just off to our west and parts of Nevada with high pressure. As that gets a little closer on Sunday and then especially next week, we bring some warmer and drier weather back into our forecast over the next several days. But it will be a cold start. Again, that hard freeze warning in effect near Cedar City, 27 degrees by tomorrow morning, and only seeing a high reaching back into the mid-50s by the afternoon. North winds as high as 20 miles per hour. St. George and southern Utah then start in the upper 40s around 7 o'clock in the morning. Should see a lot of sunshine for your Saturday, though, with highs getting back into the low 70s. But again, winds a little gusty out of the north as high as 20 miles per hour. Here's our high temperatures from today. 61 degrees in Hurricane, 47 degrees the high temperature Cedar City, 42 in Enterprise, 62 degrees the high today in St. George. So overnight tonight, back into the mid-20s down in Cedar City, I should say. Seeing those 20s around with clear skies. Everyone else into the low to mid-40s from St. George to Mesquite to Hurricane by early tomorrow morning. Now, with that wind advisory in effect overnight tonight through early tomorrow morning, could still see some gusty winds through the day Saturday. 55 degrees to high Cedar City, low 70s to mid-70s for St. George, Mesquite, and Hurricane. Here's your 7-day forecast for Cedar City, back into the low 60s on Sunday. Again, lots of sunshine expected. A little warmer next week, though. And again, dry weather, too, up to upper 70s by Thursday and Friday in Cedar City. Here's St. George and southern Utah. Should get into the 80s early next week. Expecting low to mid 80s by Monday and Tuesday. Then look at next week at the end, looking at temperatures getting very close to 90 by the time we get to Thursday and Friday in southern Utah and St. George. So definitely seeing some warmer weather and some summer in the forecast for the first week of May.
Yeah, warming right up there.
Yeah, sure is. Going to be a little breezy on your Saturday, but it really looks like the weekend pretty nice too with temperatures in the 70s. Yeah, with lots of sunshine expected, so enjoy that for sure.
Thanks, Chris. KCSG Channel 8 has teamed up with Experamac to give away an iPad at the end of this month. All you have to do is go to the KCSG Facebook page or kcsg.com to enter. Once you have entered, be sure to also use the keyword, which we will announce each night during the broadcast of St. George News at 8 for an additional 30 entries. Tonight's keyword is Utes. You may enter the giveaway every day through May 1st, so be sure to tune in each weeknight to the St. George News at 8 for the keyword of the day and more chances to win an iPad courtesy of KCSG and Experamac. After the break, an unlikely duo at a South Carolina farm. How a goat and rooster became besties when we come back. This is not something you see every day on a farm. A rooster riding goat back and the goat not seeming to mind. It's the way it is at his barn, a therapeutic riding facility and farm in Indian Land, South Carolina. Billy, an 18-year-old goat, wouldn't seem to have it any other way. By the way, 18 is very old for a goat. 4 years ago, Billy was attacked by dogs and almost killed, and his rehab took weeks. But Samoa the rooster seemed to adopt him during that time, and now they are best friends.
Very nice.
Thanks for watching.
Hope you have a great weekend.